This is a great tribute to the uncompromising and unconquerable second generation of African Hebrew Israelites of the Kingdom of Yah, Damona Israel, the Village of Peace. Saints, behold the uncompromising and unconquerable second generation. With your permission, we want to describe the full impact of this unique generation. They were not children growing up as a normal generation. They are really our heroes. We expected so much from them. If there ever was a generation expected to fail, it was them. It was thought they were growing up to just leave. We were exposed institutionally, and our understanding was shallow, for remember, we were just CFF ourselves. These children had no need to stay. What caused them to stay? Only a mighty spirit kept them here. You have to understand what we are saying. They had to look into their parents' faces to get something that could not be explained. We were running because those forces were after us. This is real, not a movie. They stayed and did not abandon us. Second generation, we will not let anyone forget your generation who has grown up in this land. You are not ordinary children, having shown a mighty spirit like David against Goliath. They extracted what they needed from us, and we extracted what we needed from them. We cannot be uprooted, and there will be a fifth generation and beyond. We are eternally thankful unto you.
תוכל לדבר על מלכי גדעון, אפילו מלך שאול, אך אין כמו יהושע ביום ההוא, שהחומות הן נפלו. הללויה, יריקו, יריקו, יהושע כבש את יריקו, והחומות הן נפלו. הללויה, יהושע כבש את יריקו, יריחו, יריקו, יהושע כבש את יריקו, והחומות הן נפלו.
My name is Rofe Eliashiv Ben Natan Ben Amishadai. Some of the experiences that I had in the Kingdom of Yah, I had both good and some that I would say that I would have preferred not to experience them. Okay. But I'll just talk about the good ones. I think I always reflect on all the fun that we had. You know, there was a lot of interaction between all the children in the community. We would always come to the playground, you know, after school and everything. And we had different types of games. We had Chevy Avanim, we had Goulot, we had Catch One, Catch All, Hide and Seek. We just had so many games that we played, and it was like we was always coming to meet each other. I feel extremely blessed to be a part of the kingdom, first of all, and then a part of this generation. You know, we've had challenges, we've had plenty of blessings. Even to this day, we have plenty of blessings. But for me to know that I made it through all the challenges that I had, you know, during life, I feel like it only could have happened because of the fact that Yah has always been with me, and I feel that He continues to be with me to this day, and even forever. But to know that I'm a part of a kingdom or generation of children that were born here in the land. I was born here in the land. Wow. And to know that I've never eaten any flesh. You know, I was born free, you know, like the Father said. Never eaten any flesh. I've never experienced any serious violence, you know, like that, because of the community that we're in, or the kingdom that we're in. First of all, I give Kol HaKavod, like all honor and praise to the first generation, you know, the builders of this kingdom, the founding fathers, you know, those that took the initiative to get up and leave, somewhere that they were probably comfortable at, and to leave that environment and go somewhere where they had no idea what would be the outcome or what they would experience. All they had on their mind, I think, was to create their own environment that would be different than the one that they came up in, and that their children grow up in a whole other environment than the one that they came up in. There was always something in me that told me to just stay here, you know, don't go nowhere. You know, the fact that I mean, this was like all I knew. You know, this community, this kingdom, this is me. This is everything that I am, everything that I know. It comes from this community. I'm not just going to let anybody just come and say and do anything to something that I feel belongs to me. And that's the way I feel about, you know, this nation, this kingdom. I feel like I'm a part of it. You know, I was born and raised in this. I mean, why would I just run away from it, or let somebody come or say and do all these things that would be contrary to, you know, to the interests that I have.
My name is Ganit Hassatra Samakia, meaning Deputy Minister, Crown Sister, the Joy of Happiness. I was born in LaGrange, Georgia. I was raised in Chicago, Illinois. In the beginning, it was exciting, and it was a very, very joyful experience, because again, I was raised in an environment where I had a very, very poor diet. I lived in a lifestyle, I lived in the ghetto in America. So I really, when I journeyed to Israel, I really thought I was going to live in tents. So I was really waiting for that excitement, to really sleep on the ground, to be outside, to be with the dirt. So when I moved to there, when I came to Israel and I saw we living in apartments, oh, that was an easy breeze. It was more fun.
Access to the is the
to the power
to
change your thought
and transform your environment and ha! Let me get out of here.
The second generation, say a group of young adults now, who made a stand. In spite of all the difficulties, or say our challenges, we could have run away. We could have said, no more eating chickpeas. I'm going back to my poor diet eating habits. We could have said that divine marriage is definitely not for us. I'm not going to have any children and live like this in this kind of environment. And a lot of times we had to go through certain struggles. There's no water. We had to manifest to say that we are strong, we are endurable, and we want this. Now we didn't know the whole plan, you know, how it's going to turn out. All we saw was for what was before us day by day in the present. So we honored and respect our pioneers, our forefathers that made that step through Liberia into the Israel. But then was our turn, it was like, we're not going to turn back either. We're going to live in these houses, no running water. We're going to live in these houses, sleeping on top of one another. And the houses in Dimona, the walls rain.
Giving all honor and praises to the Holy One of Israel, His anointed Messiah, His supremacy, His holiness, Ben-Ami HaMashiach. Holy Princedom, divine ministers, proud brothers, proud sisters. 16 tons equals 16,000 kilos equals 35,200 pounds equals 563,200 ounces of lip smacking, knuckle cracking, eyeball popping, sunstroke stopping, dehydration solving, Adamic civilization evolving, heartbeat pumping, skyscraper jumping, make you leap so high you look down at the sky, make it run so fast you disappear to the past, laugh away every sorrow. Make today, yesterday, tomorrow. Make your eyes listen and your ears look. I better shut up before they grab the hook. It's guaranteed you won't be disappointed. You'll be walking water just like the anointed. For you and for me, all the way down from the Galilee, refreshing, Holy Land, watermelon.
My name is Shamaria Ben Nasi Kelkanan. Shamaria means Yah watches over me. I was born in West Africa, Liberia, during the Exodus from the United States as one of the first children born outside of the United States of America. We came up to the land in 1970, and I grew up in Israel. We was crowded. I mean, it was me, my brother, Aaron. I think it was about 5 of us sleeping on a straw mat in the front room. When you come in the door, our mat was right there. Basically, it was, I think it was about 1, 2, 3, maybe about 4 families in the house. Every room was a family in the front room that they closed off at nighttime for the second wife and the girls that was there, that was living there, plus the girls that were going to school in Dimona. And then you had a couple of single sisters that were sleeping in the kitchen. So it was 4. I mean, you really didn't have no walking space like that. Once a certain time came at nighttime, you had basically sleeping quarters. As far as eating was concerned, they used to stretch food. You know, you call it, make the boga and put a lot of water in it.
What was your favorite food dish?
In Shikun? Boga. Cornmeal too. I like cornmeal. When it was thick, not cornmeal soup. But that's how they used to do it, you know, when it was a lot of people who had to eat. And it was a lot of people who had to eat most of the time. So that's what they did. They stretched it.
Well, my name is Badami Ishirabi. I'm proud to be a member of the second generation. I was born in the lands of the Great Captivity, Chicago Heights, Illinois, October 1st, 1960. I was a young daughter. Well, I was... Oh, that was funny, because I was living in the house with our Lord and Savior, my Lord and Savior now. Okay. And as a young daughter coming home, I didn't have any biological sisters. And I came home to a house that had a lot of girls. So to me, that was exciting. That was exciting to live with a bunch of other daughters. But Abba was truly a father. He was a father. He was everything you would have wanted a true Abba to be at the time. And one day, and then we came home. We didn't have a lot of outlets to movies and tape recorders and DVDs and so on like it is today. But we winded up, he called us and told us he was taking us out to the movies. And he was taking us to the movies, so we were so excited, getting dressed, getting ready to go to the movies in Beersheba. We get to Beersheba, to the movies, and we sit there, and the movie we seen was the 10 Commandments. We was like, okay.
10 Commandments?
The 10 Commandments.
What year was that?
Let me see, it had to be in 76. 70, then 75, 76, because we didn't go to the movies that often, but it was somewhere in that line. But it was so funny because he was so excited about taking us to the movies. That was the first time the first major production of the 10 Commandments came out.
Avinu Shebashmaim.
Ikadash Meka.
Ikadash Meka.
Kiyama Kuteka.
Kiyama Kuteka.
Terunayom.
Terunayom.
Uslaklanu.
Uslaklanu.
Akatautenu.
Akatautenu.
Kashes Laka.
Kashes Laknu.
Gamnaknu.
Gamnaknu.
Katain.
Katain.
Yatavienu.
Yatavienu.
Naden Sayom.
Naden Sayom.
Kim Kausenu.
Kim Kausenu. Pileka.
Hamanaka. Olame.
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 Sila.
Sila.
My name is Akaharon Ben Israel. Married to Achot Ziwa Bat Gabriel and Achot Doria Bat Ben Zion. I have 13 children. Plan to have more. The only brother here today, biological brother, is Achanafiel. One of the major hardships in my life growing up in the community was the passing away of my mother. My mother, who is Imam Miriam, the great Imam Miriam, who is the spiritual mother of Rabbi. And she passed away. That was like one of the tragic and horrible moments in my life. I was 12 years old. But as children, not having nothing wasn't a big thing because nobody else had nothing. It wasn't like some people had something and some people didn't. Nobody had anything. So it wasn't no big thing. But I remember the times coming home for lunch, nothing for lunch, or maybe soup for dinner. I remember wearing gym shoes, and I mean after you get holes in the gym shoes at the toe, cut the toe off, make it like a sandal. I mean, we didn't have a lot back then, but when you look at Memorial Passover, I don't remember not one Memorial Passover that we didn't just have an abundance. I mean, we had so much, it was like you had to throw food away so you can burn.
Say it one more time. Wait a minute. That wasn't loud enough. That wasn't loud enough. Let's get loud, y'all. Let's get loud, baby. Let's get loud.
I have to give that credit to the nation at that time, you know, to our fathers who raised us with nothing, didn't have nothing, didn't know where they was going or what was going on. But it made us who we are today. And happy to be born in that era, you know. There's a lot of hardships even after that era that came up that if I was not born in that era, I probably wouldn't better make it. Probably wouldn't be sitting here today.
Ha Gibor. The great Ha Gibor means the great hero. Strength. Our nation's hero. Please take your place. We love you, Ha Gibor.
Looking back in time, we are in debt to the leader. An angel of mercy, everyone. For those who believe there is no good in evil. Looking back in time, we are in debt to the leader. An angel of mercy, everyone. For those who believe there is no good in evil. For long and hard until the battles are won. sunrise in the morning. Heroes make the moon shine bright at night. Heroes make our lives a little stronger. We're in the souls of everyone. They can be found. Can be found. Give us an anchor or a rock to lean on. A captain that takes us through the storm. What makes a soldier ride along through battle? Can anybody tell me where he's coming from? He's that stranger on the street. He's that child who's at your feet, searching for freedom and justice for all. I've seen them time and again. Heroes, they only fight to win. They are the challengers of evil, and I'm glad he knows it. Heroes make the sunrise in the morning. Heroes make the moon shine bright at night. Heroes make our lives stronger. We're in the souls of everyone. Oh, heroes, heroes, hockey boy, a hockey boy, a hockey boy, he's a hero. A hockey boy, he's a hero. Hockey boy, he's a hero. Hockey boy. He's a hero. Honey boy, he's a hero. He can be found.
Hallelujah! Hallelujah! Hallelujah!
My name is Sakot Celia Eshadak Sadiq. I was born in the United States of America. My birth date is the 24th of April, 1967. Well, our childhood back in those days were actually childhood. We did a lot of things back in those times, you know, different things that exist today as far as computers, television. We were limited to those things. As a matter of fact, there were no television. I'm sorry, there were no computers. The watching of TV viewing was limited. As a matter of fact, we went out to friends and neighbor homes to do things like that. So, growing up in the kingdom in those days, we actually went outside, we jumped rope, we played hopscotch, we played double dutch, we had dance rehearsals, we came together as children, we studied for our school test the next day. Those were just some of the things that we did that I did as far as growing up in the kingdom. My greatest challenge growing up in the kingdom was actually missing the presence of my mother and growing up. There were just so many days and, you know, so many times. And as a child, not really understanding what had happened, there were just times when all I did was wished my mother was right here with me. I had to stay. You know, it was like the dreams I had and maybe going back one day, because when I was young, me and my brother would sometimes get together, and we would say, as soon as we get old enough to find our way up out of here, gonna find our way up out of here, you know. But when we got older, those thoughts, they just disappeared. You know, they were no more. It was like, as long as I had my Saba and my Safta, my father, I was okay.
My name is Akshariel Ben Nasik Rakamin. I was born in America. I came to Israel in 1976 at the age of 19, and I've been here ever since. I got married at 20. I came here at 19 and I got married at 20. She was still going to school when we got married. You know, so, well, the first generation was our pioneers, our forefathers, and they had an undying spirit to do, to be creative, to not let what you had be enough, that there was always something new. You could always do something to improve whatever it was that we had. So the one thing that the first generation gave us was fear. Fear, first of all, fear of the Holy One of Israel. And the second thing that they gave us was the ability to have a live mind. It was never a thing, it was never a problem as far as staying. It was never a thought to even leave. The thought of leaving never came. The only thing that I wanted to do was to grow up, you know, get enough understanding that I could be someone depended upon, that, you know, the nation could depend upon me.
Rush, down by 4. Ain't no team holders if we going on dig on in. Toe out, it's toe out. Every time before you go.
And the great sign was that we believe in ourselves. We believe in ourselves. And as long as we continue to believe in ourselves, at no critical moment can we lose. At no critical moment can we lose.
Abba placed a vision before us. He placed a mission before us. And we did it. We did it. And to be able to look now and see the CFF after where we was, where we started from, it's a real good feeling. It's a real good feeling. That was the greatest achievement as far as me being in the second generation. To me, that was our greatest achievement.
Say CFF, say Wild L, say CFF. Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
My name is Atira Katriela Eshet Nasi Krakami. I have been in the kingdom since 1966. I was raised in the kingdom. I am 56 years old. At the time when I became acquainted with the kingdom, I was 10. You could say we didn't have a lot of things, but the flip side of that is that we had one another. And that in itself made us become creative in the things that we did for one another, to one another, you know, and looking out for one another. We believed in our parents and the things that they were telling us, the doctrine of the kingdom and the things that they were teaching us. And we still believe in these things, you understand? So it's built character. They have built character. You know, it's a saying tough times don't last, but tough people do. But it's true.
Able to throw water out of that hole. He can take water into his mouth and blow it up through this hole in his mouth. See if we have a picture of it here. קיץ קיבלנו אבטיח. עכשיו לא רואים אבטיחים, נכון? אבל עכשיו מה אומרים? מה רואים עכשיו?
תפוזים.
כן.
אשכוליות.
כן.
לימונים.
כן.
My name is Akov Vashti Eshet Agben Kalaya, or either Evid Agben Kalaya. Either way, both of them work. Eshet or Evid. We did have one TV. It was broken at the guest house, but it was just up there for show. So we just had to figure out things on our own to do. So I think that we turned out, we were more wholesome and full. You know what I'm saying? Just leaning on each other because we needed each other. We knew the true meaning of loving your neighbor as yourself, and because all we had was each other. You know, I think that second generation is more a spirit than anything else, you know, and it's really a spirit, I would think. Yeah, I remember we were in the big house waiting to come to Israel, and me at 9 years old, I had decided that I wasn't coming. I was going back to my father, and he came up with a plan. Akko Have at the time had 2 sons there, so we were going to climb out the window the night before we were to travel and leave, you know. So everybody up, you know, just a bunch of 9 and 10-year-olds. Can you believe the report? And when I show up to the window to climb out, I have my 5-year-old brother in my arms. You know, he was a chunky little something back then. He's asleep. 12 o'clock at night, and I got him in my arms talking about I'm coming. And they was like, you can't bring him. And I'm like, why can't I bring him? This is my brother. I can't leave him. And it was like, we're going to be homeless. We're going to be on the streets. We ain't going to know nobody or whatever till we find out where we going. And at the time, we were in Chicago, and I was from Florida. You know, what you going to do with him? He going to be crying. And so I decided right then, well, if my brother can't go, then I can't go because I can't leave my brother.
Weaponry, clubs, sticks, smiling and laughing like they're going to enjoy this.
My name is Nagila Ba'ak Yehoyakim Nikodina, and I'm married to Ak Avram with 2 children. The Day of Show of Strength really stands out for me. Seeing the kingdom come together and standing up against the Israeli IDF on that day, it gave me another sense of pride and another sense of strength. On the Day of Show of Strength in 1986, I was 10 years old. So at that age, I was aware, and I remember how it went the whole day. The preparation for the Day of Show of Strength, the excitement of the children, the strength of the brothers and the sisters. And that was like a wow for me. That was like, I didn't know what to expect. You know, we heard the day before at the hilltop, the children came together, we sang songs, and then we prepared our backpacks, and inside of your backpack you had dry goods, you had cucumbers, you had a change of underclothes, and then the next morning we was to get up and go on march. At that time I lived on the hill at the house of now Akel Zariz. So waking up the next morning, walking out at 8 o'clock in the morning and seeing all the soldiers on top of Beit Sefer Zinman, it was scared. My heart was like, wow. Seeing tanks around, the soldiers with their dogs and their horses, it frightened me. But then, it was scary, but I continued to see the strength of my parents. So it put that fear away.
Today, we did not come to fight against them in a physical battle. And we know what they desire to do. Right. We will not give them that opportunity. Right. They didn't come in peace. That's we will do. We're sons and daughters of peace. We will not leave. We will wait. We will wait. Hallelujah. We will wait. Your word. Your word, Abba. Everyone today has had a show of strength.
Second generation, I bow my head unto you. Ben-Ami Ben Israel, the spiritual leader of the African Hebrew Israelites worldwide.